Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into episode number 3 of my college football season previews. One by one, releasing my initial college football top 10 for the 2022 season. And maybe the first surprise here, I am going with the Clemson Tigers as my preseason number 3 overall team. Now, a lot of factors went into this. A little bit of an easier schedule when compared to, a team like Georgia or someone like that. So Clemson is my number 3 team. I fully expect Georgia to be the number 3 overall team in the official preseason AP poll, and I don't have an issue with it. They won the national title last year, but I am expecting a little bit of a letdown season for Georgia. They will be lower on my list. We'll talk about them when we get to them. But when it comes to Clemson, I'm going to go over their schedule, talk about all the games, talk about their toughest games, the current quarterback situation going into the 2022 season, a few breakout players I expect, the biggest question mark, as well as one bold prediction for Clemson football. So, first thing I always do is I just look at the schedule, game by game, kind of talk about it. So, they open with a Monday night game on the 5th of September. That's a neutral site game versus Georgia Tech. I wonder if it's at the Panthers Stadium. I don't know. I'm just guessing that's where it probably is. They're facing Georgia Tech, and you would expect they would win that. That is an 8 o'clock primetime Monday night game on ESPN. That's before the NFL Week 1, so it's not like it's going to be competing with Monday Night Football. That's the week before NFL Week 1. Furman, the FCS school, that game's going to be on ABC, or excuse me, that game's not going to be on ABC. It's going to be on the SEC network. That game will be at 3:30. They'll crush them. And then they also face Louisiana Tech, a random 8 o'clock game. That game also on the ACC network. I randomly realized like a few months ago, I actually have the ACC network. I didn't even know. I thought, I'm from, Big Ten country. I'm not going to get it. But no, I do have it. So that's great. I'll be able to watch these phenomenal matchups. But they'll easily beat Louisiana Tech. And maybe you will get DJ Uiagalelei some confidence in these games. We will see. And then a real tough one. So you go from 3 semi to very easy games into possibly, their second toughest game of the regular season at Wake Forest and at Sam Hartman, the, very good quarterback. This will probably be a 3:30 ABC game if I had to guess. But if Wake Forest starts the season very well, I could see this being this is the week. This game will be competing with the Ohio State-Wisconsin game. I'm guessing what ESPN will do here, they'll put the Ohio State-Wisconsin game on at 7:30. This will be the 3:30 game on ABC. That's my early projection, and it should be a good game, but Clemson is way more talented than Wake Forest. That's just the bottom line. So they will be the favorite in this game. I believe they will win this game. Versus NC State, another NC State thought of as maybe the second best team in the ACC. They return a lot, including their starting quarterback. They've been getting a lot of hype, but it is so important that Clemson gets NC State at home. They've been so unbelievable at home. And I expect this to be a 7:30 ABC game. This will be probably the primetime ABC game. At Boston College, Boston College is a sneaky team, but very winnable game. At Florida State, very winnable as they continue their rebuild without Travis Hunter, unfortunately for them. He will be at Jackson State. Versus Syracuse, very easy, very standard ACC schedule. At Notre Dame, so tough game. We remember a few years ago, they went to Notre Dame. DJ Uiagalelei made the start when Trevor Lawrence was out. He made the one-game spot start, threw for over 350 yards. He got a lot of hype. They ended up losing a close game. Can they go back to Notre Dame and get revenge? I think they do. I really think they can beat Notre Dame. Then they finished the regular season with 3 home games versus Louisville. Louisville, of course, they're a fun team with Malik Cunningham, but you're at home. You should beat them easily. Versus Miami, I think it's very important they have a home game against Miami and they're not on the road. I am extremely high on Miami this coming year, but the fact that this game is in Clemson, I really like their chances. And then versus South Carolina, the annual Battle of South Carolina or whatever, the rivalry game, they get that one at home as well. I expect that to be a win for them. Talking about their toughest game, pretty much anyone could pick this one out, probably at Notre Dame, considering it is a road game. Notre Dame at that point, while they are breaking in a new quarterback, that's later in the season. Whatever quarterback they end up going with, he should have a few games under his belt. The other games you could say either at Wake Forest or versus NC State would be the two other tough games when it comes to this Notre Dame schedule. Moving on to the quarterback situation. So, major question mark here with DJ Uiagalelei. If you guys, don't remember, this kid was a top 10 overall recruit in the, I believe, 2019, maybe 2020 class. One or two of those classes. 2020, I think. Or maybe 20. Guys, I get them confused. I don't know. But very high thought of recruit. As a true freshman, makes a spot start against Notre Dame, puts up crazy numbers, gets Heisman hype last year. He's expected to replace Trevor Lawrence, and complete flop, total flop. And it's a very interesting quarterback situation because if you guys remember the Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence situation, when Trevor Lawrence was a true freshman, Kelly Bryant originally started that season as a starter. And I don't want to compare Kelly Bryant to DJ because I think DJ is way more talented than Kelly Bryant was. But you take a look at Clemson and their recent top 2022 recruit who will be a true freshman, Cade Kubnik, ended up being the number 6 overall player in the country, the number 1 overall quarterback. It is a tough ask as a true freshman quarterback to say, hey, obviously Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-generational type guy. You come in and step in and be the starter as a true freshman. But we've seen Dabo Swinney, he's willing to give a true freshman a chance if DJ is not getting it done early in the season. So the quarterback is going to be a major concern. The reason I'm higher on Clemson than most other people is because I think DJ will get better. I'm betting on experience. I'm betting on the fact that he was a top 10 overall recruit. We saw what he can do as a true freshman. He's got a really good arm. And even if DJ doesn't get better, I think Dabo will go to the true freshman, star quarterback. It's a risk because the kid's a true freshman, but you have to understand with this Clemson team, we haven't even talked about their strength. Their defense is absolutely loaded. And that gets us to our breakout players. I think on defense, what Clemson did in recruiting in 2020, unbelievable. Brian Breesy, the number 1 overall player, a defensive tackle who was injured for much of last year. He is going to have a massive motivation to have a great season because he's currently being mocked inside of most top 10 mock drafts for the NFL 2023 draft, and he needs a big season. He hasn't done much as a college football player. He's being mocked there because of his recruiting ranking, and then you've also got Myles Murphy as well, who's another just stocky, massive pass rusher, the number 7 overall player, as well as guys like Trenton Simpson. When I'm talking about just overall breakout player that maybe not a lot of people know about, Barrett Carter, the linebacker, athletic guy going into his second year. I love Barrett Carter. I think he's going to be one of the best linebackers in the country, and he ended up being the 33rd overall player. I thought he should have been a top 15 overall player personally. And then on the offensive side, Will Shipley. Will Shipley, as a true freshman last year, he was okay. He's going to make whatever quarterback Clemson goes with, his life way easier. This kid catching passes out of the backfield, Christian McCaffrey-like. I'm not just saying it because he's a white, running back. Maybe I am saying it because honestly, probably I am. But still, you can see the comparisons to Christian McCaffrey being that, shifty running back out of the backfield. Will Shipley, the former 5-star, should be really, really good. But when it comes to this Clemson team, again, why do I have them ranked 3rd? Why do I have them over Georgia, over some of these other teams like a Utah or whoever anyone wants to go with? It comes down to the ACC schedule. You get NC State at home. These are all manageable games. Clemson has built an absolute stockpile of elite talent based off of the past 3 recruiting classes, they're going to have a top 3 defense in all of college football. And I'm betting on DJ improving a little bit when it comes to the quarterback. Or you've got a true freshman who could come in there and at least manage games and let your defense carry you to wins. So that's why I'm high on Clemson in 2022, higher than most people. I think people kind of overreacted to their one-down season where it really wasn't even that horrible. I mean, it wasn't what they've done in the past, but maybe a little bit of an overreaction. When you look at this team's recent history under Dabo Swinney, the recent recruiting has only gotten better. This year, just looking at their schedule, very manageable. First 3 games should be guaranteed wins. Week 4, I know it's a road game. I'm guessing, again, 3:30 game. But Sam Hartman, decent quarterback. That you have way more talent than Wake Forest, let's be honest. So that should be a win. And then you get an NC State team at home. Very important you get them at home. At Boston College, at FSU, both very winnable games versus Syracuse. That's an easy 3-game stretch. At Notre Dame will be the other tough game. But I think they can beat Notre Dame personally. I really do. And even if they lose to Notre Dame's, they're still an independent. So it's not a conference loss. You can still lose to Notre Dame, have 1 loss, but still be undefeated in conference play going into your conference championship game undefeated, even if you lose to Notre Dame. So really, me ranking Clemson 3rd in my initial 2022 rankings, it's based off of a number of factors. It's based off of Clemson's recent history, which has been unbelievably elite. They've run the ACC. They get NC State at home. They've got a very easy schedule. They get Miami at home as well. You're really only one tough road game in conference is at Wake Forest. That's extremely manageable. I understand the quarterback is a question mark, but I think DJ Uiagalelei, he's talented enough to where he can improve. He's got more games under his belt. He's got more experience. You think he would improve. And even if he doesn't, Dabo Swinney in the past, you go from, Kelly Bryant to Trevor Lawrence as a true freshman. He can switch to the superstar true freshman. I'm not betting on it. I wouldn't want to bet on a true freshman quarterback to win you a national title or anything like that. But I think, with how talented they are, you just need a game manager, really, with how great they're going to be on defense. I mean, just stud after stud after stud. And these kids need to have good years, especially Brian Breesy in terms of the draft, Miles Murphy as well. These kids need to have elite years. We're talking double-digit sack years. And I'm betting on their defense. It's a combination. Like, why are they above Georgia? I think Georgia's a flawed football team in 2022, guys. I really do. And again, I am fine with Georgia being ranked 3rd in the AP poll because I think we need to respect Georgia because they just won the national title. And the team that just won the national title deserves respect. I agree with it. But in terms of my personal rankings, like who I think are the best teams, who are going to have the best years, Clemson is my number 3 team. So my number 1 team right now is Ohio State. My number 2 team is Alabama, and my number 3 team is Clemson. Of course, if I were to predict this last year, people would be saying, you're so boring. Maybe it still is boring. I mean, Clemson, people are a little bit down on Clemson, I guess, because of the year they had, because of the quarterback situation. I understand it. Dabo Swinney maybe not adapting to the times with the transfer portal, with the NIL. There are legit concerns within the Clemson program. But when you look at this team, you just look at it from a neutral perspective. The overall schedule, the defense, the talent, it all lines up to me at least. They should be far and away the best team in the ACC. You have one semi-tough road game. It's a very manageable schedule. That is why they're my number 3 overall team. Taking everything into account, I'm just trying to tell you guys. And then my breakout players, Barrett Carter, I love him. Will Shipley on the offensive side, out of the backfield catching passes, should do wonders for that offense. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. My number 3 college football preview video. So my number 4 team will be announced in the next video. That'll probably be tomorrow, I'm guessing. But guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.